Kelowna, one of the most beautiful places in the world to live, surrounded by provincial parks, pine forests, vineyards, orchards, and mountains. Wouldn't it be great if there was a podcast about our love of Kelowna? Oh no, it's real. This is I Love Kelowna, an interview-style podcast about the fabulous and fascinating people that make up our great city and the Okanagan. Intimate conversations with entrepreneurs, executives, thought leaders, creatives, and anyone who has an interesting story to tell about how they're contributing to our wonderful home. This is I Love Kelowna, and here's your host, Luke J. Minkus.
So, Kendra, thanks so much for coming on the show today. It's a beautiful Sunday, and you probably want to be outdoors, but I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So, you've been in Kelowna since about 2013. Tell us the story of how you decided to move to Kelowna.
Okay. I was in Manitoba, and I was in the holistic health food industry.
Okay.
And I felt that I had learned as much as I could with the people around me, and I'm not really a strong school person. I'm more of an experienced person.
Right.
So I decided that I'd move to BC because BC is where there seem to be a lot of knowledgeable people about the health food industry, less pharmaceutical, more, nutrition and lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I legit just pulled out the map with a friend of mine and we looked at the island. We're going to maybe go to the island, but that would scare my dad because we're prairie folk and the island is right beside the ocean.
Okay.
So anything can happen. So I went my way in. Vancouver was too big for me. And then the next one was Kelowna. So I looked at Kelowna and Kamloops, and Kelowna had more biking trails.
Right. So when you say looked at, was it like Google searches?
Google search.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally just the map.
Nice. And did you come for a visit before deciding?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, my parents, they helped me get a Jeep. I filled it up with my stuff and
just drove out here.
I was gone, yeah.
Nice. What did you think? What was your first impression when you got here?
My first impression, I remember talking to my dad on the phone, driving down West Bank, just about to hit the bridge. Like he was on, it was a handheld free device, of course, cell phone, like on the dash.
Yeah.
But I said to him, Dad, I can't imagine anybody feeling stressed in this community.
Right.
Because all that you have to do is just get in your vehicle and drive around and just look at the mountains.
So amazing. Amazing. So tell us about your life here. Now you've been here, it's coming up on 6 years this August. It'll be 6 years.
Yes.
So you've done so many things. I don't even know where to start. Thank you for the detailed bio.
Oh, pleasure.
There's so many great things to talk about. But tell us a little bit about your experience so far, 5.5 years. What have you been doing?
Right.
And you've got a business, so maybe just paint a picture for us.
Okay, awesome. So when I was driving into the Okanagan for the first time ever to come live in Kelowna,
right?
Remember I was fueling up in Salmon Arm. I remember exactly which gas station it was, and I got a phone call from an owner of a gym on the west side, and he said, "Hi, Kendra, I noticed you live in Manitoba, but would you like to work with us?"
Right.
Because I had applied there. And I said, actually, I'm just coming into the valley right now. And he's like, great. Do you want to start tomorrow?
Wow. So did you?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, it ended up being a very bad experience.
Oh.
But a growth experience.
Do you want to tell us a little bit?
Yeah, it was a sales position. I was selling gym memberships.
Yeah.
And that was a new concept to me because we didn't have that back in Manitoba.
Really?
Yeah. And so there was a lot of just kind of like illegal stuff that was happening.
Like bait and switch kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, like I learned a lot of like valuable sales tactics that were good and they're for the consumer.
Yeah.
Obviously we benefited, the consumer's happy. But it was more people signing my like contracts over to other people and so we never, like me and the other salespeople, we never made actually what we were supposed to be making. And he promised a lot of money and there wasn't anything close to that, of course.
Right. So when did you quit? How long did you stay before you figured out this isn't right for me?
I'm not much of a quitter. So I stayed maybe 2 or 3 months,
wow.
which was, long for considering what was happening. But I still learned a lot of beautiful things.
Yes.
So it was neat. I learned that the gym atmosphere isn't really my vibe.
Right.
I'm not really a gym person. I'm more of a outside experience person than I really appreciate lifting weights. Like there's a lot of benefit to it, but the gym culture.
Yeah.
Is quite different.
It's kind of sweaty and you're confined, right?
Yes.
So you're looking at walls instead of, the beautiful mountains and the lake and everything else. What kind of physical things do you like to do outside?
Hiking, snowshoeing, road biking. Wow. We've been biking every month.
Nice. How do you find the mountains? Do you try to stay flat?
No, we climb.
Wow.
Yeah, we climb. Better endurance. It's a harder workout.
Yeah.
And it's more rewarding too.
Yeah. Well, you grew up in Manitoba.
Yes.
So, the first time you tried to bike on a mountain, were you like, holy crap, like my lungs are burning? Or how was it?
My mom's voice kept going through my head from when we were kids biking around campsites or whatever. And she'd be like, oh, there is a hill. And there was always such a big deal around hills.
Right.
Because, I don't know, like it's flat, like a lot of the places around here too. But yeah, maybe because of the prairie roads, you're right. It was quite flat on the roads.
Yeah.
So,
but you adapted pretty quickly.
Yes. Yeah,
nice.
I pushed myself. Yeah, my partner, he's the one who's encouraged me to get road biking with me wanting to, obviously. Mm-hmm. As the first time we went up halfway up Knox because it was wintertime, we couldn't go all the way.
Yes.
It was like a huge celebration. He's like, I think he was so excited that he was with someone who was interested in pushing themselves.
Right.
Just that little bit more, because like it gets pretty steep going up Knox Mountain. There's the wall, which is like an 8% grade.
Yeah. Is that severe? So I don't know much about it.
It is.
I see it on the highways when I'm driving, like steep grade 8%.
There you go.
So truckers need to check their brakes and stuff. But like for a biker, is 8% pretty severe? Yeah,
I think it's pretty substantial. Like once you get into like 4%, you start really feeling it. Even a 1% grade, you can feel that.
You can feel it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
So you just gotta like time the momentum. As soon as you get a little flat, you just kick it up. You change the gears and get more power, and then you just push through. So you have more power going up the hill, and it's a lot easier. But it's the technical sides.
Yeah, for sure. Do you bike often?
Yes.
How often?
Yeah. Well, we haven't biked outside for a week.
Okay.
Because
of weather.
Yeah. It's been a little snowy.
But you'll go through the winter if the roads are dry.
Definitely.
Or the trails. Do you do trails or is it roads?
Roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, roads.
So they got to be dry, obviously.
Pretty dry, yeah.
Yeah.
Or not too like gravelly, because gravel on pavement is very dangerous.
Yes.
Right?
I had a wipe out when I was 8 on a kid's bike. We had a big, very large circular driveway, and I used to race around that. I thought I was racing, and I hit some gravel. And back then, I don't think safety was such a priority, and parents didn't really supervise. So my parents were out, and I was biking, and I had shorts on, no shoes, no helmet, no shirt. Okay. So I went sliding across the gravel and scraped up my chest and arms. Now, it wasn't seriously injured, but I was badly scraped. So I found a giant box of Band-Aids, and I plastered them all over my chest and stomach. So just a funny story, kind of reminded me of that. That was the one time I had an incident with gravel on a bike.
Yes, it's very slippery.
A long time ago.
It's better to just be a gravel road than gravel on pavement.
Yes, for sure.
I'm glad you healed from that.
yeah, definitely healed, yeah. So you, I want to know, do you remember the first time you got up on a stage and performed? Do you remember how old you were?
I performed. First time I snuck up on a stage, I was probably like just past crawling.
Just past crawling. So like as far back as you can remember.
But my memory, I think I used to get in front of the school, my classroom, and sing for them.
Yeah.
And so that would have been like choir songs that I had learned. And I started singing choirs when I was in grade 1.
Right.
So I would have been like 6 years old.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know if that was the first time for sure, but I remember that and the kids didn't think it was very cool.
Why did they not think it was cool?
Because it's sort of the the normal, like there's a break, or maybe there was like before recess or at the end of lunch or something, but the teacher was probably gone, and I just stood up in the front of the class and started singing them a song.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, like, what kid would think that's really cool, right?
Yeah, it's, we tend to be a little surprised when someone puts themselves out there.
Yeah,
gets in front of a crowd. And you mentioned that your sisters would be performing, and you would kind of sneak on to the stage.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
And how old were you when you did that? Or is that what you're talking about? That was
probably, like, just past crawling age.
Just past crawling age. And did your sisters like it?
Oh, they're probably
shocked?
Used to it. Yeah. Used to me just stealing the spotlight all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was stealing it naturally, too. I didn't really try to steal it. It was just my personality.
Right.
It just, attention came to me.
Right, yeah.
Sorry.
That's awesome. So you studied voice, piano, both classical and jazz. So
yes.
Tell us, like, for a layperson, what is the difference between classical piano and jazz piano? Okay. So classical, I'm thinking like Mozart and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the Royal Conservatory of Music, classical piano. So, like, if you were to go and take like piano lessons, you'd probably be doing the RCM like regime.
Right.
So you start with like preliminaries, and you go grade 1, and you go, and then when you hit like grade 5, you probably start doing exams.
Okay.
And so that's when you go in front of an adjudicator, and they test you on everything. They test you on the theory, like how much you know about music. Mm-hmm. They teach you on like the pitches. Yes. They'd ask you about different kinds of intervals, like what they are, and sight reading, and then you'd actually perform like pieces that you've spent like a year, sometimes like a year and a half learning.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of pressure.
Did you, I know some people are really great at what they do, but they find exams intimidating.
Right.
And very stressful. So, did you find it stressful getting up in front of these? I'm picturing people with like glasses on the edge of their nose and very serious, and, almost like a little bit pissed off, like that kind of demeanor. Is it like that?
Not really, especially when you're a child.
Right.
Right. Like I probably started doing my exams, I don't know, when I was in middle school for sure.
Yeah.
So I probably would have been, like 10 or 12.
Yeah.
So the people that they have adjudicating, they are nice people, right? Okay. They are teachers themselves who know how to interact with kids.
Right.
So it wasn't that intimidating. Piano, I was never as strong at as singing. Okay. When it came to singing, I would have a little bit of nerves, but like that's healthy. You want a little bit of that fire in your gut, right?
Definitely.
That excitement. But I just always killed it.
That's awesome. Do you still sing?
Yes, definitely.
And just for friends and family, or perform in public?
Public.
Really?
Yeah. So funny. I haven't done a ton in Kelowna, but once in a while I'll be asked to, sing at like a funeral or what else? I sing with orchestras. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a soloist with orchestras, not yet anyways. Who knows what the future holds?
Yeah.
But with choruses, with choirs.
Right. So, but when you sing on stage, you're typically singing by yourself, like with a band?
No, I have done that, but in Kelowna, it's been mostly with choirs.
Oh, with choirs, okay.
Yeah.
Are you part of a choir?
Yeah. Yeah, well, kind of. The choir that I'm part of, we're going on like a 1.5 year break. It's the
That's
OSO.
That's long.
Yeah, well, they just didn't. We had our last concert. When was it? Last summer. Mm-hmm. And then they don't have us scheduled again until 2020.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a bit of a break. I'm thinking of looking at finding another choir to join in the meantime, because singing is so essential. I noticed when I was in high school that over summer break, I would sometimes feel like kind of like stressed. And then I would just start singing, and my parents, part of their house, is a beautiful stairwell, and it's very echoey. So one day I just started singing, and then the next day I'm like, oh, I don't feel any stress anymore.
Yes.
So that's a form of release. I didn't know that until that summer. So that would have been, 15 years ago or so. Mm-hmm. And yes, singing is very important to me. It's a form of art. It's a form of getting yourself out there and expressing yourself.
Yes.
So even the other night, I was feeling a little unbalanced emotionally. There wasn't really like a reason for it. Something was going on. I had different energies in me. So I just went and like laid on the pool table. And I just started singing like old Mariah Carey songs that I used to sing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just little things like that, right? Use it as a vessel to help you through life.
It's very healing. I know.
Extremely.
I played a lot of bass guitar.
Cool.
And,
awesome.
I love to sing, but I didn't do it often enough to be confident with it. So I kind of went the public speaking route. But I'll still sing in the shower or in the car when I'm by myself.
Good.
So it's a healing thing, and it feels so good, especially when you love the song that you're singing. I don't know. You can say no, but how comfortable are you if someone were to put you on the spot and like just sing a verse or something
on a podcast?
Yeah, I had a gentleman who's actually, that's what he does for a living. He's a performing artist, and he sang a verse, but I totally understand if you're more comfortable in the choir or after rehearsal. Totally fine. I'll clip this whole part out.
I'm not very shy.
Well, I would love to hear it.
Okay, let me think of.
I mean, it's such a huge part of your life, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
I think it'd be nice.
Hilarious. Okay. Let me think of a song that's not too challenging, so I don't know how it'll sound on radio. Is Danny Boy too intense?
No, nothing's too intense.
Okay, I might be loud. I'm gonna maybe turn it this way.
That's okay. I can adjust volume.
Okay. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling me from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But coming back when summer's in the mountain, and when the valley's hushed and white with snow, I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
That is absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad I asked you. And thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
It's something fun and gentle. Actually, it's not a fun song at all.
Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that a traditional Irish funeral song?
It could be a funeral song, definitely. But it's reference to war.
War.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Danny Boy.
And Danny's someone who died. Yeah. Do you know which war? Or is it general?
Probably Second World War. Okay. I don't know for sure.
All right.
General war.
Do you remember when you first learned that song?
Oh my goodness. Danny Boy? It would have been probably with the choir as well. Because you learn so much repertoire through choirs.
Yeah.
So that would have been, I don't know, like when I was 13 or something. It's been a staple.
Yeah, that's amazing. Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
And what's it like singing in a choir versus... So, funny story, but I went to an all-boys boarding school when I was 13 and 14, and we had to participate in the choir.
Okay.
A lot of people didn't like singing, or they were too embarrassed, but it was kind of easy as part of a choir to kind of, pull back and not put yourself out there like you did.
Right.
Is that a common thing with choirs? Like, can the conductor or the teacher really pull people out? Can the teacher tell if someone is like just mouthing the words and not actually singing?
If they're mouthing the words and not singing, it's because they don't have the confidence to sing that part.
Right.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's totally okay. A really good choral conductor like Rosemary Thomas of OSO, she is so impressive. The first half hour of like a 3.5 hour rehearsal, which is intense, but,
yes,
or maybe it's 2.5 hour rehearsal. Yeah, 2.5. She will actually just work on vowels, and she'll work on our togetherness. So we are singing as a choir, not like individuals. Because a lot of people in community choirs, and that's a community choir, they aren't necessarily experienced vocalists, or some of them can't read music. But she just works on building us up as a team and teaches people how to sing properly just through vocal warm-ups. And then we're warmed up, and our ears are on, and we're breathing properly, and we're all tuned in, kind of, right? Like tuning a guitar.
Yeah.
Got to tune a bass guitar once a year, right?
Exactly. Well, more often than not, yes.
Just using.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's cool.
That's
cool, you know.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I love learning about things that I don't know much about. So, you know, I'm really grateful for this conversation.
Well, the choirs are a beautiful thing. It's a lot of community collective. Yes. Like you'll be singing with like 90 people, and it'll just be like togetherness, because you are, like the sopranos are one voice. The alto is one voice. Tenor is bass are all their own individual voices because it's their own part. Right. So you learn how to sing together and work as a team. Yeah. Like sometimes, you know, you listen to each other. Like I'll be singing a note, and I'll be like, and I'll back off instantly because I'm really attuned with that. Yes. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't feel right. So I'll just like stop singing or listen really hard and intently to the people around me. And then I'll adjust my pitch to their pitch. Right. And then they'll do the same with me. Right. If they feel a little off, if they're a good chorister, they'll just be silent and just listen, and then come in when they're comfortable.
Right. So do the altos and tenors and sopranos, are they grouped together geographically? Yeah. Okay. So you don't have the like mismatch, and then it'd be a little confusing, I guess.
It would be nice like that too, to challenge everybody. Yeah. But yeah, for community choirs especially, you want people clumped together.
Right. And it's not just a different octave, it can be a harmony. Like
definitely.
Actually sing different notes that are harmonious. Yes. Yeah. Yes. I like to explain to people, it's, in a way, it's analogous to colors. So red is not the same as blue, and we can see the difference, but the right tone of red and right tone of blue harmonize, they look great together. Okay. Right? So I think as an analogy, voices doesn't need to be the same note to harmonize.
Oh, 100%.
Right? And even a lay person can hear if something's off.
And you can feel it too. Like you playing bass guitar, like you can, if you're near your amp, you can feel the vibrations off if you're playing a wrong note. Right. Right? Exactly. So same kind of thing. Like it's dealing with frequencies too. The frequencies have to match.
Yeah. Interesting. Very cool. I want to ask you about, because you put it here, and it's kind of a personal thing, but being able to fit in with people. So you are a very positive, you know, very confident person. Yeah, thank you. From my perspective, I've known you for about less than 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
But you come across to me as someone really easy to talk to, very bubbly, not shy. So you mentioned that you might have had some challenges like fitting in the past. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure. I put it in the bio. I didn't know how to do a bio. But that's okay.
Well, this is great.
Okay. When I was a kid, I was content being on my own because sometimes I didn't want to do what the other kids were doing. Right? Yeah. And that's kind of the structure of who I still am today. Yeah. So, I'll always do what I think is the best thing, and I'll always do what I want to do. Right. Like not as strongly as a child, because a child can be very stubborn and aggressive with what they want. Obviously, I'm an adult. I've grown up with that. But yeah, it was actually really rough. I know every kid's been bullied, but I was bullied from kindergarten. Wow. And apparently that's not normal. No. So kindergarten kids are usually a little nicer. Yeah. So I was at one school until I was in grade 6. Then my parents were like, this is the year where it starts to get like bullies start, you know?
Yeah. They emerge and
Yeah. So then my parents, they suggested that I look at a different community to go to school in because, being in rural Manitoba, there's only so many communities around and each community has one school.
Yeah.
So being in the middle of these two communities, I went and met with the principal in this other community and saw at the school. Their music program was really strong. They're really friendly there. So we went with it. We switched schools.
Did that solve the problem?
No.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you, like, sometimes changing the environment can help for a while.
Yeah.
But it's a really complex issue, and I'm glad we're talking about it. I have children, and I experienced it at different phases. And even to this day, decades later, I'm still trying to figure out, what the difference was between circumstances when it would happen and other circumstances where I felt like I kind of fit in.
Right.
And I've always been an introvert. I always prefer my own company to large groups. Doesn't mean I don't like people. I'm not really a shy person, but being shy is different than introversion.
Right.
Introversion means you prefer your own company and your own thoughts, but shyness means you're intimidated by other people.
Okay.
So I used to be shy. I'm not shy. I have no problem approaching someone, telephoning someone, writing a contract with someone. But most of the time I prefer to be with books and my videos and, people that I'm very close to.
Right.
So that's an introvert, right? So these are things that I had to, kind of figure out, as I got older. But what do you think the best thing that a young person can do when they're faced with bullying? I mean, you have some perspective now that you're older.
Yeah. And thank goodness I don't have kids yet because it's so confusing, right? It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
And just so different now today. But yeah, if someone has a problem with bullying, I think that, talking to your parents, that's huge because, but then what does the parent say, right? So the parent tries to help them see right from wrong.
Yeah.
And tries to solidify what is morally the appropriate thing to do, the appropriate action to do. Because a kid, they feel like they're an adult sometimes. They just take so much on. Yeah. They don't need to. They need to know that they're supported by their family, by their community, by their teachers. Yeah. And often the fingers just gets pointed, right? My dad, he grew up being the bad kid in school. And he wasn't a bad kid, but he was mischievous and he was curious.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But what is bad, right? So I would say, talk to mentors and then just if necessary, confront the bully. That's the only way you're going to build up your strength and your relationship, I think.
Yeah. And assertively, right? Not aggressively. I know some people think just go punch them in the teeth, but it's more assertiveness. This is not appropriate. I don't accept this. Like that. And adults can be bullied too.
Yeah.
Especially in the workplace, I find, because it's similar to school in the sense that we've got to be at a certain location. If you work for yourself, it's a little bit easier. If someone's treating you improperly, you just get, you pay your bar tab or wherever you're at and you leave.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But if you're in an office, you've got to be there. It can be
so toxic.
It can be really toxic. Really
sometimes
toxic.
The worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked at a place in Kelowna. Obviously, I'll respect them. I won't say who they are. But yeah, it was just the owner. He wanted people to tattletale on each other, which I get. But isn't it more valuable going to the source, people talking with each other, right?
Exactly.
And so he just one time I got in trouble for something, and everybody knew about the situation except for me.
Yeah.
Right? And then by the time it got to me, it had built up so much, just this catastrophic problem. And it wasn't even a real thing that happened. That didn't happen. That's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah, gossip becomes amplified and exaggerated the more people it goes through.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's such just black and white. If something's wrong, you talk to somebody about that thing, the person that you have the issue with.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. It's so simple, but people don't have the confidence or the self-worth in themselves to actually confront that person, then they don't deserve to be a boss.
Exactly. Yeah. The only thing I could think of off the top of my head that I would advise people is when you go for a job interview, you are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing.
Yes, it's an exchange.
Exactly. So don't be so nervous about getting the job that you don't relax a little bit and kind of scrutinize them a little bit. Like, is this someone who's going to have my back if we have an issue with other staff? Is this someone who comes across as a warm and empathetic person? Like, questions like that you should be asking yourself. You're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. Yeah. So that's the one piece of advice I would have. But and you're a very unique and creative person. So I think some people are envious, and you with a voice like that, you see this all the time with people with real talent. People get envious, and they find passive aggressive ways to try to knock them down a couple notches. So I'm sure that's a big part of the reason why you went through certain things, because people are like, they just get pissed off when you got an amazing voice, Right. And it's petty, but I mean, I think young people, when they've got talent, they should also realize, like, hey, you're an amazing person, and that could be part of the reason why you're getting singled out like that.
Exactly.
Parents got to build up their self-esteem and let them know, hey, you're unique, you're special, and you're amazing, right?
And that's the thing. My parents were always so secure, like they were such a beautiful foundation. Like they created a beautiful foundation for me to raise in. Yeah. That I was seeing a counselor a year and a half ago for a little bit, and she said to me, she's like, Kendra, your sparkle has never been dimmed. Right. I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, you are so sparkly, and you will always be sparkly because you were raised that way. Your parents always nurtured you. Yeah. Right. So it's beautiful, and I've seen that with my boyfriend and his siblings too. They've been raised with so much confidence and like sparkle, and they're just all the golden child. There's 4 of them. Yeah. It's like, it's beautiful. It is. It's a beautiful place to be.
So beautiful. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your business. You're doing concierge and cleaning. Yes. So give us an example of a typical client. Would you be a concierge and a cleaning service for the same person?
Basically, whatever they need done. Okay. Except for shoveling snow, because that's like $40,000 a year for liability insurance.
Wow. Yeah, it's dangerous, and it's
I'll refer them to somebody, but we won't do that.
Right. So I can think of an example. If I leave the country for 2 weeks, I might want you to drive me to the airport, and then the day before I come back, clean my house, and stock it up with some beer and some food.
That's like, you're like my dream client. Like, okay. I would love to do that. We've started this whole thing because me and my partner, we started house sitting. Pet sitting. People were asking us to take care of their pets. And it's probably because I was doing my own thing. I didn't really have like a stable job, which is a gift. Right. Now I'm just all on my own. Yeah. So people, I think there was 9 people in 1 month that asked us to take care of their dogs. Wow. All friends. I'm like, okay, so maybe there's something to this. And people couldn't find people to stay in their houses with their dogs because people have jobs or they have their own pets or whatever. So I was able to and my partner, we could just remove ourselves from our living situation and just go wherever that person needs us to go. We went to Sylvan Lake. Wow. Yeah, so that's in Alberta. Yeah.
So you're basically, you got to walk the dog and feed the dog and give it love and affection.
Of course, yeah. And we stay in the home, take care of it.
Yeah. So you're obviously pretty good with animals. Do you have any problematic dogs?
Oh, yeah.
Ones that won't stop barking or?
Aggression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aggression or too shy, which can be aggressive too. Yeah. So we've had all different kinds of animals, cats that are feisty, but cats that are beautiful too, right? Yeah. So all over the map. We were getting bit every time we took care of this one dog. Wow. Every time. So we're fine with him now. We haven't had a problem in quite a while. But like the dogs that need help, like in the home, are dogs that can't typically go to a dog, like a boarding facility. Right. Because
they won't accept them.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know from like the boarding perspective, like the actual people who run the boarding places. But the dogs, if they're like aggressive or anything, or shy or intimidated easily, they'll come home with like scratches. Right?
Because they get in the fights.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're the dogs don't have as much confidence.
Yeah.
How about we take care of beautiful dogs too, like Great Danes and they're lovely. I love Great Danes.
That's awesome. Did you grow up with pets?
Yes. Yeah, lots of dogs.
Nice.
Yeah, my parents have 3 dogs right now.
Any cats?
No,
but you take care of cats now.
Yeah,
successfully.
We take care of cats too.
We have 2 cats here. So
they're shy or something, right?
So Henry is introverted but not shy.
Okay.
Chloe is extroverted but very shy. So what I mean is, if she sees a new human come into the house, she'll freak out and hide under the couch. Once she gets to know you, she'll be in your face. She'll be like, feed me, pet me, love me, don't ignore me. She's very extroverted, but she's shy with new people. Henry is, he'll come and say hello. He doesn't freak out if you approach him, but he prefers to be by himself. So that's the difference between shyness and being introverted.
Brilliant example.
Right?
Yeah.
So my 2 cats, they're amazing. And they are not siblings. She's older, 1/3 the size of him. He's a big guy and she's a little dainty cat. And so when my partner and I moved in together 2 years ago, we had about 10 sleepovers. So she would bring her kids and her cat to my place and for the weekend, and I would bring my kids and my cat to her place, because the kids got to get along before you move in together, but the cats too. I mean, imagine if they were breaking furniture and like trying to gouge each other's eyeballs out. Right. It would be a strain on the whole relationship, right? So they're part of the family. So
that's so smart, because you have 2 families, right?
Exactly. And they're part of the family. People just, sometimes they think, well, the pet's kind of almost like, I hate to say it, but almost like luggage. Like it's just like, they are part of the family. You got to see how everybody interacts. So
that's beautiful. So
they're not best friends, but they get along okay. They give each other space. And you'll often see them. They like to watch TV, and they'll sit on the couch. They won't be snuggling, but they'll be on the same couch together. And they'll follow each other into different rooms. So they're like cool with each other. Yeah, they're buddies.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that I get to meet them.
Yeah. Henry's usually around. He'll come and say hi, and then he'll leave. But Chloe, probably not. She's probably hiding and I don't know why. Like, Kara, my partner, had her since she was tiny. And she said she's always been like that. Because I know some stray cats, like animals, have been abused and stuff. But she's always been loved. But she's just really nervous around people until she gets to know you.
Right.
So.
Well, DNA goes back a long time, like traumas and DNAs.
Yeah.
With humans anyways. If they say...
True. Yeah.
I've heard 5 generations, but I've also heard longer.
Interesting.
So I wonder if that's the same with animals. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Makes sense. I'm telling you this because I'm probably going to have you cat sit.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
They're both amazing. And when we go away, like, it's pretty expensive to go put them at boarding, and they don't. Chloe, especially, she doesn't really like it because, like I said, she takes, time to get to know someone. And you put her in a room with 20 other cats, and she's like pissed off. She's like, "Why are you doing this to me?"
Right. It's not for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people really like it when someone can go into the zone of where the animal's comfortable.
Consistency.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't offer dogs to come into our house.
Right.
But we can go into other people's. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and can I continue on that?
Yes, please do.
And so we started the dog sitting, and then from there, I was trying to sell like cleaning packages to people as well. Not many people like grabbed that opportunity because we just cleaned the house anyways.
Right.
But it was a good idea.
Because you're sitting there anyways, right?
Yes,
so
exactly. And then one of my friends that we were dog sitting for, she has an Airbnb. Mm-hmm. So and she heard that I used to detail clean in Kelowna through a friend, just like very casual, but I know how to. So I started cleaning her place.
Yep.
And then from that, she's like, you should really look into like co-hosting Airbnbs. So I started co-hosting a couple of Airbnbs, and we had our own that we were hosting as well. Mm-hmm. So we got into that, and then we started cleaning more because people were wanting help. We were getting referrals from that lovely friend of mine.
Yeah.
And she's amazing for giving referrals. And we just kept going like that, and it got busier and busier, and it's consistently getting busy. I thought it was going to be like, hello, I have a cleaning business, and then we get flooded.
Right.
So I trained a lot of people.
Right.
So there's about 20 of us
Yeah.
that are trained to my standards of detail cleaning.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a big business.
Well, no, but we have a lot of people trained, but we don't have a lot of business yet.
I see.
So we're available for business.
Right.
Right? And
so you can
ready.
Expand rapidly because you've got so many people on call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yes, and that's the thing. They are casual, they are on call, and they don't have to, like, if they say yes to a gig, they have to come, obviously.
Right.
But,
so you go down the list, if someone says, oh, sorry, I'm out of town, and you go.
Yes,
go down
exactly.
The list. Yeah.
And I based it on where they're strongest. Like, some people are, they're trained how to clean in hotels. So, and I've been trained to clean in luxurious homes. So the hotel cleaning is very different. It's not as detailed and is very, very fast, which is good. That's efficient.
Yes.
In a way. But then the detail cleaning that I do, and that I try to train everybody to be more like that, we take our time.
Yeah.
We do a very
thorough
job.
A lot of polishing. And
a lot of polishing, yeah. Making sure everything's done. Baseboards every time.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Well, if necessary, but usually every couple of weeks it is.
Yeah.
So I try to find a balance of people with different strengths and that get along, and some people just like to work on their own. So once in a while, those opportunities come up. We clean up at Big White too. Which I know, like, people need cleaners up there. So, hey.
Right. Now, do your cleaners live up there, or they're willing to travel up there?
There's one company that I work with up there. Cool. If it's just a small clean and I don't really want to do it, they'll do it for me. Like, if we're not already going up there for the day or whatever. So they'll pick that up, and I'll make an administration kind of a reward from that. Yeah. And keep a client. Right. So, but no, most of the team is here. Like, people that I have trained are in town. Right. In Kelowna.
Yeah. So with the Airbnb thing, is it like a guest leaves, so you come in and change the linens and maybe vacuum, maybe clean the kitchen, whatever. So it's like the guest turnover.
Yes. So we clean
very
everything.
Similar to a hotel.
Yeah. Yes. I guess so.
What would be the difference?
It's just more, we care so much.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I pay the employees very well. They're not even employees, they're just, contractors. Yeah. So I pay them well. And so we charge a little more than other companies. But the people that we're catering towards, they want our services. They want that quality. They want that standard. So it's luxury homes and vacation rentals. Mostly, we also do like clean outs and stuff, but
clean outs like
if someone moves.
Rentals? Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Or not so much after renos. That's
but
more like
someone moves out and there's always stuff that you didn't even know was there, like behind the furniture and stuff. And,
of course. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's tons. And that's the thing, like someone will say, oh, I cleaned it, it's fine. And then that's a weird scenario. But like the place that we're cleaning up, one of the places up at Big White, the woman that I've been having help out, she said that it hadn't been detailed clean in a long time. Right. But the woman that actually hired us, who owns the place, she said she detailed cleaned it herself. Yeah. Right? So, like, cleaners just have such a different standard. Yeah. Because that's what we're doing. We see it so much easier, and we know how to take care of it easily.
I think it's a great idea. My business, like, I can't tell you how many times I've sold a house and then someone says, it's totally filthy. And then you talk to the seller and they're like, what are you talking about? I spent 4 hours, or 6 hours cleaning it. And people's standards are so different.
Totally. And like, where do you start, right? Like, if there's a lot of dog hair, you got to start with getting getting rid of the dog hair on the floor, and then clean everything else, and then go back to the floor again. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of different steps involved, and there's just tricks of the trade that you learn too.
So when it comes to the concierge service, tell us about some of the things that you've done or would like to do as part of that side of business.
Like to do, like your example of
get some groceries.
I've offered that to people. I've offered airport pickup. Yeah. Taking care of their house, taking care of their animals, taking care of their hot tub, like anything around the house, basically.
So hot tubs.
Also, secretaries or like personal administrators, we can supply those.
Great.
Or decorators.
Yeah.
We can do decorating, and we can do organizing.
Nice.
So it's basically just the people that I've attracted to participate in the business. Mm-hmm. They are multifaceted people.
Yeah.
And they have experience in all different kinds of things. So we are even asked to decorate 3 different malls for Christmas this year.
So Christmas decorations?
Yeah, like, and I'm not a decorator. I have no experience. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty. And the people that are helping me, they're like, well, how about this instead? They're very sweet. Yeah. Like I think I'm good at designing, but they're designers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I supply the tools and I help facilitate it. And then I grew up in kind of like a machine shop. My dad had a machining business. Mm-hmm. So I have more like a practical way of looking at things, and they can do the decorating, and then I'll find ways to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. So I'm thinking small stores, storefronts, and if they want Christmas decorations, they don't have the time or they're not really that great with decorating, they can call you to do their Christmas decorations.
And that's what we were doing, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. You mentioned hot tubs. I was thinking too, I don't know if you repair them. I'm guessing you don't, but like if I had a hot tub and I'm going to town and the repairman's coming Tuesday at 3, you can come let him in, make sure everything is put back and locked up and that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. Or just top up the chemicals in the hot tub or whatever. Like we're very like open-minded to learn what people want.
Yes.
Right? And then we will cater to that.
That's awesome. Every time I've worked for someone, and every time someone works for me, I always say, your job is to make my life easier. And to my boss, I say, my job is to make your life easier. So I think your concierge business that's really what it is, right? You're making people's lives a little bit easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's huge opportunity in Kelowna too. So this is just the beginning. Definitely. Like I just got my business licensed like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Right?
So you're brand new. Yeah,
and I'm licensed now. Woo!
Well, it sounds like you're on the right track. Sounds
awesome. Thank you. I'm really happy.
Great. Was there anything else you wanted to cover? I mean, we didn't cover everything in here, but okay. We're at 46 minutes already.
Yeah, I kind of figured it wouldn't be a 21.
Right?
Maybe caroling for a cause and a dip challenge?
Yeah, so tell us about 2 things that you're involved in. Caroling for a cause. First of all, tell us about that.
Caroling for a cause. Oh, I love it. We started it 2 Christmases ago in December. And it was because being a singer, like my ears are just open to this realm of people want to sing, but they sometimes feel like they don't have the talent, which like hurts me for them. Like I'm an empathetic person, obviously most people are. I just feel so bad that they feel like they can't sing with the group because they don't have talent. How are you supposed to, feel confident to get that talent or whatever, right? So lack of talent demotivated people, and also lack of finances, because there usually is a fee involved in being in a choir. It's like $100 or something. It's not a lot, but it's still something, right? And a couple of years I couldn't do that, but luckily they liked me, so they just let me in anyways.
Right?
Yeah, they're very, very nice. So I wanted to provide a platform for people to come out and there be no expectations, no judgment, no anythings. Just come out and have fun. But there had to be an intention behind it other than that, because why not? So we are helping to raise money for our Okanagan Boys and Girls Clubs.
Nice.
I really like Okanagan Boys and Girls Clubs because of how active they are in the community. And a lot of the people that come out to carol for a cause, they like sing. They think singing is cool. It's not like really their jam sometimes, but they really want to raise money for Okanagan Boys and Girls Clubs.
Right. So cool.
So we literally just go around downtown or different events that we're asked to go to with a box, and people donate. Like we're busking with permission.
Right.
Mostly. Downtown Kelowna doesn't care because we're fun.
The singing's amazing. So I doubt anybody's going to object.
Well, it's fun. That's the intention. It's fun.
Right.
So we've done that for 2 years now, and we'll just keep doing it. And then we did the lake dip challenge last year, hashtag lake dip challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look that up, Facebook or Google, whatever, it'll come up. And that was to raise money for her international.
Mm-hmm.
And this all happened because I was living on the lake and I was dealing with some traumatic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but growth. It was a growth phase. And one of my friends said that if you go into the lake, everything will clear.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that your mind, like whatever you're thinking of, will completely just like it'll go away.
Yeah.
And he didn't know this, but 10 minutes before, a loved one of mine messaged me and said, my dad just got cancer kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then was putting the blame on me because I had actually just left that friendship.
Mm-hmm.
He was a boyfriend. So like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we had a glass of wine and we were warm from the fireplace. So we went into the lake. And then I started dating Dion, who's adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought that was cool. So we were going into the lake.
Nice.
And then I just offered it to my friends and we all started going to the lake and having like foot soaks and tea and beautiful gatherings, like almost like every third morning of last winter.
Wow.
So a lot.
Yeah.
So we were right beside the El Dorado there.
Oh,
It's
cool.
a beautiful area.
Yeah, cold water is really great. It's actually really healthy. Just a quick story I want to share with you. So when I lived in Nelson, we used to go to the springs at Ainsworth, the hot springs.
Yes.
So they've got a warm pool, they've got a hot tub, and then they've got an ice cold pool.
Okay.
And it's actually two sources of water. So hot springs are super hot. And then the warm pool, I think they mix the hot with the cold. And then there's also a cold spring. So it's ice cold. So we would go in the hot tub, then we go in the cold pool. And we like to do that. There were kids jumping in and out of the cold pool. And, you know, they shriek and they jump out quickly. And there was a military guy sitting in the cold pool. You know, he was all tattooed, buzz cut, and completely still. And so I got in, and I was a little bit, you know, shuddering. But I wasn't freaking out like the kids, but I wasn't stoic like this guy. And I was like, how do you do it? Like, you know, you see these kids and you're totally calm. And he said, well, in military training, we learn the difference between discomfort and danger.
Oh.
So that's actually the fear instinct. Even though they're having a good time, it's the fear instinct. So it's a shock, and it's actually a fear instinct that causes a person to recoil and jump out. Hypothermia can be very dangerous, right? And so it's a fear instinct. So he said, the harsh training that we go through, we learn the difference between being super duper uncomfortable and being in danger. And he said, we are not in any danger right now at all, but it takes time for your body in your brain to get used to that, you know?
That's impressive.
We're not in danger. So it's really great for the body. Like the hot water causes your blood to rush to the surface, and the cold water causes it to rush to the organs to protect the organs. And it's like a very natural, healthy flushing thing. So I try every day to have a warm shower. And then 3 minutes ice cold.
3 minutes?
3 minutes, I'm told, is the optimum.
Okay. Impressive.
And, you know, first I could barely do 15 seconds. And it's like, oh my God, this is terrible. Why would anybody do this? This is so stupid, you know?
Yes.
And now it's like, I feel so great.
Right? It's refreshing.
Totally refreshing. Totally refreshing. Yeah. And you just have to train your brain that you're not going to die. It's, you know, you're not even going to be hurt. It's just like really shocking because you're not used to it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Do you have time afterwards to go in the lake with me?
I don't today, but maybe next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And like, do you notice the glow you get afterwards?
Yeah, for sure.
Like an hour or so after, I feel like your skin looks like you've been tanning all summer.
Yeah.
You just get so much of a glow because of the flesh, because of the detox.
Definitely.
So good for you.
And I've always been a bit of a nervous, anxious person. And when I do that first thing in the morning, I find like I've got more confidence, more, you know, chill vibe type of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think it's got multiple benefits. There's a book. I love audio books because I'm driving and walking all the time.
Okay.
But it's called Own the Day by Marcus Aubrey.
Okay.
So the idea of this book is instead of like a 3-week challenge or a 6-week challenge, it's like 24-hour challenge. What is the best 24 hours you can live? So what's the first thing you should do when you wake up? What is the first thing you should eat? What is the first thing you should drink? So, for example, he says, first thing you got to do is hydrate. And so water with minerals, which is what we've got, and then a squeeze of lemon helps the water to get absorbed into your blood faster.
Yeah.
Room temperature, squeeze of lemon. He said that is going to hydrate you better than anything else. So you start with that, and then you start with like a healthy fat, so like an avocado or something healthy, because what it does is it slows down your digestion. So even if you love coffee, like I do, you're going to get that buzz for much longer because of the healthy fat that's coating your stomach, and so on and so on. So he takes you through like waking up and right to going to sleep.
Brilliant.
And it's really great. So he, at the 1 hour mark, he talks about getting into the shower and the cold shower. That's where I got
so it's even categorized by the hours.
Yeah. Like he's like, awesome. Well, it's more like waking up, rehydrate, breakfast,
for sure,
shower, exercise. So it's not necessarily by the hour, but it's like, what do you do next?
Yeah,
like
cool.
in steps.
That's awesome.
And, even things like dealing with road rage if you live in a big city and you're, how to meditate without crashing your car.
Breathe.
Yeah, breathe, of course, yeah. But like there's like a way to focus where you can kind of like have a hazy view where you can still focus on the road, but you can kind of defocus your peripheral or something.
Right, so it taps into different brain waves maybe.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a great book. I'll send you a link. But,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But the cold water, the lake dip challenge, I'm totally up for that.
Cool.
Sounds great.
And I haven't launched it this year. Yeah, the actual campaign lake dip challenge. Just because I don't live on a lake anymore. It's not as convenient for me.
We have a car.
Yes.
So we can do that.
Yeah, exactly. We can go on the lake.
Awesome.
Okay.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, great. I want to take a picture of us. And
sure. Please.
Have we covered everything, do you think?
That sounds lovely.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Oh, my
Had a great time.
Yeah, it was really nice.
You've been listening to I Love Kelowna. We love where we live, and how can you not? With all the provincial parks, pine forests, vineyards, orchards, mountains. On each show, we have in-depth, intimate conversations with entrepreneurs, execs, thought leaders, and creatives, all that make up Kelowna. You can support the show so we can keep producing by going to paypal.me/Luke Menkes. And make sure to visit the official website at ilovekelowna.buzzsprout.com. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show. And we hope you had some fun along the way. We'll be back soon. Until then, this is I Love Kelowna signing off.